Hey everybody, Dave Durante, former US national champion here with you. We're going to be going over a front lever. We're going to be focusing on two components here. We're going to be focusing on the strength aspect of the front lever as well as the weight distribution aspect. So we're going to be going over a bunch of progressions for both of those aspects. A couple of prerequisites that we want to be seeing for our front lever, we'll break them into kind of three categories. The first one's going to be a positional component. Do I have a strong hollow body position? Hollow body meaning from shoulders down through toes in one nice uniform curved shape. If you can do that, it's going to allow you to get up on the rings and apply it to something like a front lever. If you can't do it down on the ground, it's going to be very difficult to apply to something a little bit more advanced. Now, we're going to be looking for here is a hollow hold if you can do somewhere between 30 seconds and a minute, where it's nice and uniform, where that lower back is fully intact on the ground the entire time. That's a good indication that you're actually in a good place for it, all right? Secondary component that we're going to be talking about with these prerequisites is going to be an inverted hang, some spatial awareness around getting upside down for the first time. Sometimes that's a big component that most people miss out on. The strength side is our third prerequisite. The strength side is going to be very, very important, especially in terms of what we want to be seeing activated. This is a heavy-duty lat-activated exercise, so we want to be thinking more about lat engagement as opposed to extremity being worked on here. All right, so we like to think about 10 to 15 reps of strict pull-ups. That's kind of a good variation that we can use as a prerequisite before we can start applying it to our front lever. First exercise we're going to use for our warm-up are going to be weighted pullbacks. Some light weight in our hands. I have 5-pound plates as a starting point. So the way it's going to work, I like to think about starting with my feet together, elbows fully extended, thinking about creating as much length through your arms as you possibly can. Here the palms will be facing behind us, all right? And the objective here is going to keep the hands as close to the body as possible, and you're going to pull back as far as you possibly can, palms facing up towards the ceiling behind you, and then pulling straight back down to your starting point, hands in line with hips. You'll repeat the same action, slow and controlled, lowering back down here. I don't want this to be done really fast. You shouldn't feel like the weights are swinging you back and forth. So I want to avoid that piking from the hips or arching from the hips, making sure that from your head all the way down through those toes, you're in one straight, nice hollow body. All right, the rep scheme I normally work on with this is between 7 and 10 reps. That 5-second hold is going to make this super challenging. So again, pick a weight that's going to be manageable for all of those reps. So one of the warm-up drills that we're going to be using here for this front lever is going to be a banded drill. I like to use a PVC as a starting point. You can do it with rings, but a PVC is a good starting point. Just hanging a couple bands from the pull-up bar. You'll wrap the PVC through the middle of both. The approach here is to make sure that we're understanding the activation of those lats, trying to close the bar, the PVC down by the hips. So we understand that weight distribution is a huge factor here. All right, we want to make sure that we're trying to get equal weight on the front and the back side of where that attachment point is. So we can come down to the ground. We're going to get into a hollow position and work on a little bit of those pull downs. Hands should be about shoulder width apart. Again, this hollow position is going to be critical here. Shoulders up off the ground, watching the toes, nice uniform hollow, and then pulling down by the hips. Holding that end position nice and long, good 3 seconds. Slow and controlled on the way out. So I normally like to do about 5 reps, 3-second hold on each one, just a couple of rounds just to get, again, the activation of those lats in that closing position from a straight arm position in place. It's a good way for me to get prepared for what I'm going to be doing up on the rings. Next exercise we're going to show here as part of the warm-up is going to be a Victorian Raise. Laying down flat, stomach down towards the ground, you can let your head lay off the edge. I'm again using very light weight here. In fact, the first time you do this, I recommend you not using any weight at all. And then slowly starting to add some additional weight as you become more proficient and when your range of motion starts to increase. Elbows are staying fully locked out. This is going to be a straight arm exercise. I don't want to see any bends, so keep thinking about creating length and try to work through as much range of motion as you possibly can here, all right? We'll try to do 10 reps with a 2-second pause on each variation. Our first progression is going to be a tuck front lever. We'll get into our inverted hang to start. It's always going to be our start and finish position. We'll bring the knees deep into the chest, and from there we'll start to lower into a position where our body is completely flat. Ideally, what we're looking for here again is a straight elbow and palm direction facing down. So we're going to be looking for about 3 to 5-second holds on those front levers in that tuck position. 3 to 5 sets would be a good place to start out. Next variation that we're going to be showing here as a progression is going to be, again, a tuck position, starting from inverted hang, lowering into your tuck, but instead of finding a pause position, you're going to lower down all the way with one nice continuous tempo descent. We want to stay within a range that we can manage here. So if you're strong enough in that tuck, we'll lower all the way back into the hang, knees back in as a reset, and lower again with the same tempo, all right? Okay, with that movement, we're going to look for a 5-second tempo descent, 3 reps, and again, we're going to be looking for 3 sets. Okay, next variation in this progression is going to be to slowly start to expand that front lever from our tuck to a one leg extension. So we'll have one knee bent, one leg fully extended. The key here is going to be trying to work towards a position where the hip angle is open at 180 degrees. So instead of piking, we want to be thinking about creating length in that leg that's fully extended, while the other one is then deep into a tuck, all right? So we're going to do it in a hold position, ideally starting from an inverted hang, bringing one knee in, and then lowering the body down as far as you can go, where you can keep the hip angle completely open at that extended leg, holding for 5 seconds, and then either lowering back down to the ground or pulling back up to your inverted hang as your finished position. And that will be 1 rep, all right? Ideally, what we're gonna be looking for here is about 5 sets of just a 5-second hold on each of those. Okay, building off that previous progression, instead of working on that one leg extended in a hold position, we'll do it in tempo descent. So again, you'll start from the inverted hang, you'll bring one knee into the chest, leaving the other one fully extended, and lower down all the way to where you can go to the ground, and then pull back up towards your starting position. So again, if you can only stay within a shortened range here, or only bring it to 90, that's as far as you'll go with it. You don't have to bring it all the way down to your hang. Stay within a range that you can manage, and then over time, build that range slowly more and more to and beyond 90 degrees, eventually building towards that full 180 from inverted hang down to hang. Okay, ideally, I want to think about a nice tempo descent on this, so we want to be thinking about 5 seconds on each leg, 5 seconds on one leg, pulling back up, switching legs, 5 seconds on the other leg, pulling back up, and that would be considered 1 round or 1 set. Here, we'll try to do another 5 sets. Next progression here is going to be a straight body, fully extended front lever type of drill, but we're going to be using a tempo descent from your inverted hang, watching your toes, lowering down slowly with some tempo back down to your hang. This particular drill with a straight body is just going to be the tempo descent on its own, no pullback. So the goal will be to lower from inverted hang all the way down with a straight body, no piking, trying to avoid an arch, keeping a nice straight body throughout. 5-second tempo descent back to your hang, eventually building towards 10 seconds from that inverted hang. Try to get about 7 to 10 rounds going here. Rest as much as you need between each round to make sure you're nice and fresh. Okay, building off that previous progression, so you'll start vertical, you'll lower into an angle where you can hold for 3 to 5 seconds, and then you'll come out of it. You can either pull back up to vertical or you can lower down slowly, but we're looking for a nice, clean 3 to 5 second hold at an angle where you can maintain nice body alignment where everything is in one straight line. And then the final front lever position, holding the body out horizontally, the highest level version of this particular movement. And one of the key concepts here that we're trying to get across is making sure that you understand, yes, it's a strength component, but it's just as much about balance when it comes to that final position. So in terms of incorporating this type of movement into your training, 2 days a week is kind of a good starting point to make sure you're hitting it pretty consistently and giving your body ample rest between your days, and then building up from there to 3 and potentially 4 days if this becomes a primary focus. Okay guys, we have all the tools now to get after this front lever at a good starting point. Work on this on a consistent basis. Make sure that positional awareness is at the forefront of your mind. We're getting after this. And consistency. Consistency is the name of the game. You want to become better at gymnastics movements, you have to be working on this on a regular basis. So show me what you got.